Yes, something very important which actually follows from our yesterday's discussion. We realized that in order for professor to calculate the sample size, we also need to have information about audit authorities' assessment of the systems based on the based on audits on management control systems. That's why for the Excel table that we presented yesterday, we propose to add additional column with information assessment of the system based on the audits of system audits. And here we would like audit authorities to put simply category 1, 2, 3, and 4. And based on this data, professor will calculate some weighted values to take into consideration for the global sample size. We hope it's not a problem to provide us this additional one information in the Excel table. So I would like to hear whether there would be any kind of doubts or problems. And then for the technical meeting, we'll present the Excel table already that you know from yesterday. And then there will be this additional column, assessment from system audits.
Thanks, Barbara. Interesting point. I don't see any immediate reactions. Maybe people are still typing in the chat. Marco says this is fine. Very good. Yeah, you can also use the reactions. They're a bit funny and sometimes difficult to deactivate, but also a way to do this. Okay, perfect. So good. Maybe also some takeaways from yesterday, which mean a bit homework from the side of Interact at least, and I guess also with the support of the Commission, is certainly that we will have to look at the question of small project funds a little bit more in detail with regard to how they can become also part of the simplification approach and not making things more complicated. Also, we would, of course, invite you to use the feedback questionnaire, which we always ask you kindly to fill. There are some free fields in it where you can also use the opportunity to indicate other areas where you would like to get a bit of more information or more details or more instructions or more guidelines. And we will, of course, look at it. And yeah, nothing to add to the point that this is a process. We will keep talking about this for a long time, at least until it happens for the first time and for the second time. And I hope by the third time, everything is clear and we're all on the safe side. And it has just become routine. There's a question by Ursula. We can expect a different sample size depending on categories. Stratification, I think, Barbara, this goes to you in terms of what you just said with regard to indicating the categories. And I see that Irshka also raised her hand. So let's go in that order.
Yes, it depends on the global sample size and all other parameters like standard deviations, etc. So in reality, we could have two different situations. Either the situation that everyone will be having the minimum sample size, 3 or 4 sampling units. And in case the global sample size would need to be bigger, and then there would be higher sample sizes per program than the minimum ones, between these programs which have category 2 and category 1 and 3. Technically, there are two possibilities. Even if there are differences between programs, we can still stick to one common distribution of the sample sizes. or we can make differences. So we will discuss with the Professor Coelho, but we hope that for majority of the years, we will have just minimum sample sizes. At least now we have very low error rates for the last years, as Salvatore presented yesterday. So we have good standard deviation. And if it will proceed like that, in case we'll have a lot of programs in our sample, then we will try to make a minimum for everyone. The problem is with the first 2 years. That's why we will discuss now internally how to deal with this problem.
Yeah, I understand. Ursula, I guess that that answers.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Ishka, please.
Thank you. So I, first of all, I want to say that for us won't be a problem to provide this information on the assessment of the management and control system, because usually we finalize our system audits during the first half of the year. So for us, it won't be a problem. It's good that the Commission will consider some sort of additional certifications as regards programs which are having a lower score and higher score, in order not to put the burden on everybody, and to focus on those which are with certain problems within the management and control system. I have a question as regards GEMS, because yesterday I discussed with our managing authority, which is also a national authority under many programs, and they shared to me that they're planning for the next programming period to use GEMS. Yesterday, I remember that the colleague mentioned that their reporting module is not functional, it's not ready yet. Is it possible to have some additional information where the system will be fully functional? And I do believe that all the requirements of the Commission, these tables which we are discussing now, will be implemented within the system, and it will be useful and very easy to maintain by managing national authorities and by us, of course, for reconciliation purposes.
That is, of course, always the plan. Alex, maybe you can complete with a little bit more details.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, regarding GEMS, we are following an agile development process, which means that we are currently always defining the features for the next steps. So we started with the models that the programs need to start, meaning the calls, the application model. And as they start using those parts, we are developing all features that they are ready in time when the first programs need that. So we have a core group of Interact programs and a user group, which is invited every second week to see what is the development. And with those, we work on what feature has to be ready. So for sure, we know the timeline and we follow the timeline of the programs. And of course, we follow all the regulations. This is also why we have this core group to also work with the programs directly to make sure that everything is in place and how they need it when they need it. But there's a lot of information. I can maybe post in the chat some links, so then you also can...
Yeah, maybe in case that if colleagues are interested, that might be a good idea. Barbara, you raised your hand. Just to let you know, there's also a question by Dorota in the chat asking, when you're talking about the categories to input from the system audit, are you talking about the ongoing for the previous accounting year or for the accounting year to be audited?
We mean about the audit year to be audited by the audits of operations, but obviously we are aware that sometimes audit authorities don't have information which are more the most updated. And whatever is the situation, have the audit authority finished the system audit work or not, we need this information, but the audit authority can provide this information based on what it knows at that stage of providing the data. So in case there is nothing final at that stage and what at the preliminary that are very unclear, they simply probably put from the previous year because this is the best what they can put at the moment. So from all audit authorities, we expect this data, but we are aware that sometimes there is no other way but use the information from previous years. And I wanted to also refer to this very good remark that indeed I have the feeling that the best would be, in case we would have the sample sizes which would not be the minimum one, 3 and 5, it would be indeed good to make differentiation between good, well-performing programs and the ones with problems, because it is the best for everyone. The sample sizes will be the lowest like that, and we'll have more information about these bad-performing programs. So we will indeed ask Professor Coelho to make such differentiation, depending what is the system category.